The second trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6 is here. It's still very cinematic looking, but between all the flybys shown here, we get a few shots of how it could look to actually be playing it this time. Like this view here from behind the wheel of a car. Or this one, which is obviously from the very end of a cutscene just as it's about to transition into a playable state, viewed over the guy's shoulder. Good news is, it doesn't look like Rockstar are cheating. This is likely how the game will look when playing it on a modern console, as opposed to being pre-rendered footage, or were they to use a PC of some sort instead, which would be cheating. Also, it does say here that it's captured on PS5. But does that mean the base console or the Pro Edition? It looks great, but I enjoy analysing stuff, so here are my observations. Resolution and frame rate. This trailer is viewable at 4K 30fps. I like to imagine this is one of several settings you can choose to play it on with the consoles, because 60fps these days would definitely be preferable for a game like this with lots of driving and motion in, but maybe in order to get a higher frame rate they have to drop the resolution. And what with this being a trailer where they're trying to make the game look as good as possible, it makes sense that they would have chosen the higher resolution but lower frame rate setting to make it look more cinematic, in more ways than one. So yeah, while this video is playable in 4K, it's a very soft looking 4K. YouTube's image quality makes it harder to come to any definitive conclusions about this, but judging from the stepping you can see on some of the shots and the shimmering around some of the finer or faster moving edges in this trailer, I expect this game will actually be running on a lower resolution than 4K and then possibly using upscaling to bring it back up to 4K again. The wings of the seagulls as they're flying here look to be a lower resolution, but this could also be to do with how Rockstar's game engine behaves, because I'm seeing the same telltale look to this image quality as Red Dead Redemption 2 had. That game relied heavily on dithering and crisscross patterns to do transparencies and foliage. Then they tried to mask all that by blobbing it up with temporal anti-aliasing. The shimmering this causes is especially prominent on all the hair shown in the trailers, like here, and the blobbing it causes is quite prominent on the foliage in the very first shot. These trees down here look significantly lower in resolution than 4K would suggest. But let's put this into perspective here. 4K is a high resolution. It's not the end of the world, it's like the golden standard to aim for. The way that modern renderers work is to chuck a billion effects at the screen and to rely on higher resolutions and frame rates to eventually resolve any loose ends they may create, compared with yesterday's rendering methods, which were simpler but kind of hit a wall in terms of how good they could look at any resolution or frame rate. So yeah, I'm okay with GTA 6 going down this route, especially if this is how the base PS5 edition of the game will look, because of course the eventual PC edition will allow for the best of all worlds with higher frame rates and resolutions, and if the new GTA 5 update is anything to go by, superior upscaling technologies like DLSS to improve on the image quality further. And then we'll no doubt get the PS6, PS7 and PS8 re-releases of this game as we're waiting for GTA 7. Another thing the recent GTA 5 update introduced was ray tracing, and I'm fairly confident GTA 6 will also have it, because why would Rockstar bother adding it to an older game in the series when they're not going to add it to a newer one, and also because this trailer features a lot of reflections, and without the usual problems caused by fake reflection methods. Rockstar no doubt had to take a performance hit to include ray tracing in GTA 6, so you bet they're going to make full use of it. This is the scene that shows it best. Not in what the water's reflections are showing, but rather in what they do not. I'll show you what I mean. More specifically, this example from Oblivion Remastered will. You can see here that the tree in the foreground is somehow affecting the water reflections half a mile behind it. This is obviously wrong. And don't think you'll get away with it either, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
I can't abandon the company.
You do the same thing. So what's happening here? This is a fake old-fashioned method of doing reflections called screen space, which, you guessed it, can only reflect what's being seen on screen. And this means it messes up in situations such as these, where it's obscuring what should be reflected instead. The solution to this is ray tracing, which I know has a bad reputation for slowing stuff down, but it's because it does it properly, and it should allow for much better, more reliable and less distracting looking reflections. So if we return to this scene from GTA 6's trailer, you can see that it no longer makes mistakes like this. I would expect to see blank spots behind this boat here, or around their feet, if it was cheating by doing screen space reflections of some sort. So the absence of these problems suggests that they're doing ray tracing properly. And here's the really cool thing. You might wonder why I use this example for ray tracing, and it's because it's using very similar hardware and technology to what GTA 6 will be using. And whereas the entire graphics card is focused on doing the ray tracing in this example, Rockstar have somehow managed to pull off an entire game and ray tracing for this same scene here. So you can see just how much more detail and graphical quality Rockstar have managed to extract from pretty much the same amount of hardware. They're wizards. So what this means is we can expect to see pretty reflections on cars, windows, puddles, picture frames, the ocean, even if it might not reflect everything at all times. But not all reflections are equal. The ones in this picture frame look utterly fantastic, reflecting both the TV screen and an unseen portion of outside. But then the very next shot from the other side of the apartment shows a slightly rougher looking floor, which look a lot less impressive in my opinion. There are weird artifacts around the base of this table here which look quite artificial, and there's some shimmering going on here which might be ray tracing, or it might just be some weird shading trick that they're using. Oh, and the door's missing. Might as well get onto shadows now, which is another potentially ray traced effect. The giveaway would be variable penumbras, where the shadows cast by the sun get softer the further away from the source of the shadows. It's very hard to find examples of this in the trailer. I think I can see the effect, and there are ways of faking it, but you know what? I don't care. The shadows and lighting in these trailers look so perfect that I don't even care if they're faking the effect. It doesn't matter if it looks this good in every situation shown. And this is important to get right in a game with real-time day-night cycles like the GTA series. So let's stop analysing the graphics and just have some fun. Here are some other observations I made just from watching this trailer again and again and again and again and again and again. It looks like the main characters are fixing up this shack. Lots of scenes show it in a work in progress state, so here's hoping there's more love invested into your character's safe houses than in previous games. It looks like the two main characters hate each other because they're constantly physically fighting each other in every clip. So it looks like Rockstar are playing it safe and should avoid any future hot coffee scandals. Pet snake. Cat. Pissfusser makes a return. I hope melee combat plays a bigger part again. It was so fun to punch people about in GTA 4, and it felt a little bit tacked on to the experience in GTA 5. So with so many punches and kicks shown in these trailers, let's hope this translates to actual gameplay, and characters getting thrown about all over the place. In this clip, the main characters don't seem too happy to be captured on film, so this could be a minor spoiler for a mission of some sort. Anyway, it won't be long before we find out what with this game coming out this fall.